isn't really going to be able to threaten the Lunox. And even in the XP lane, we saw that Edward was winning early on, but now that Sanford has gone that level 4, has gone a few items down, it's a bit tough for Benedetta.
Oh, Turtle already spawned. Carlteasy spots out Haji. Sanford, yeah, there's the RWM.
Not going to be able to find anything else, though. The stun does connect with the Feather Airstrike connecting onto Sanford. The Petrify locks him down. Edward finds the pick up. Blacklist International now with a man advantage. Rotating around Eternal, circling Eagle onto Yaoi. He's going to be able to find his stun. Carlteasy jumping in. Newman Black Charge in with the Flicker as well. Oheb with no Purify here. Doesn't use it just yet. Why still winning the Retribution battles and pop? This is on force. Now Yaoi going to be able to dodge away for now. That's a lot of burst damage as Yaoi will be slain by Edward. Echo losing out in the straight.
Blacklist has amazing battlefield awareness. They knew exactly where every member of Echo was. They almost threatened orange steal from Carlteasy, but they're not done.
A stun and a knock-up. It's still Matilda Airlines here for Blacklist International.
Blacklist is showing what they want to do with this draft. You want to establish control. You want to make sure that the Riverside, you're winning. And the specialty of having a Matilda is when someone overextends, they're not really overextending. In their previous fight, in the Turtle, they were very focused. What do we want to do? Turtle first, but now they want to kill.
And they get it, right? It's onto Venus, the roamer.
Anything that Echo can get here in the first 5 minutes, they will. In the first 2, they were willing to trade and get some advantages, but now wait, a stun onto Oheb, force out the Zalman Force.
Pops the Purify as well. The real world inflation almost catches Oheb, but he is able to get out of that one. Haji rotating towards the gold lane with a Feather Airstrike to clear it out, protecting his tier 1 up top.
This is difficult because we said for Echo, for them to win, they have to win the lanes. Here in the early game, not exactly the story because Blacklist now ahead maybe 1.5k. LaFell, what's going on?
I would say it's not enough because Blacklist, they understand this as well. So as long as they delay, as long as they wait for Oheb to get 2 items, then it's basically they're already doing at least half of their win condition. So it's not about Echo not doing it. It's more about Blacklist seeing this time and time again. We understand how your draft works, so we're just going to play around it. So even though, okay, so here's the thing. Echo, they needed to win by 2K, by 2,000 gold. That's LaFell's threshold. So if Blacklist having 1.5K lead ahead, they're really at the driver's seat.
Well, right now, it does seem that way, but Echo are going to be able to force it out. Oheb going to be caught low, but Venus comes in to save Oheb again. Haji with the rotation, circling Eagle to lock Yaoi down. Good selection right now. So the airstrike will come through. Yaoi going to be able to get the stun down onto Venus before he gets taken low. Now, guess who's here? It's Sanji with real world inflation. Jumping in, but that you go. It's going to be the guiding way. Haji going to be slain though by Benny, who uses the chaos to take him down. Sanji still poking Venus down. Echo are looking to get the siege down onto the tier 1. Meanwhile, on the turtle side, Carlteasy is going to be taken low with Sanford with the 2v2. That's going to be Bravest Fighter popped into the back line right now. As Carlteasy going to be able to find it, and Wise is going to fall. Edward finding the stun onto 2 with an eye for an eye to dodge away from the CC. But still, Echo, they win out on that trade.
Not just that trade, but on 2 fronts. They pushed up top, got a kill down bottom, and took the last turtle of the game.
We got a lot here because, again, 500 gold, that's great, but Sanford having 1 kill. He has 1 stack on his emblem, and now looking at this, Carlteasy is in too deep.
He's looking for a steal here. He does get the orange buff, not punished enough by Blacklist International. Oheb and Haji falling in the gold lane once again. We spoke about this. Winning lanes is how Echo can get it done, and Benny, 3 kills on him right now.
Finest example of caster curse. You start talking about it, you start questioning it, and it comes up almost immediately. Yaoi with the Numinal Blast.
Deathness welcome to cancel it out. That's the anti-CC coming in. As Sanji does the damage onto the tier 1. Bravest Fighter by Sanford just to get out. Gets that anti-CC down, unstoppable. Meanwhile, Blacklist International trying to make their way up to the gold lane. Gonna be poked down by Benny as Carlteasy sieging down that tier 2 in the gold lane. Carlteasy gonna be careful here, takes the turret down, gets out with relative ease.
What a swing for the House of Highlights. Unbelievable. I can't believe that maybe 4 or 5 minutes ago we were talking about how Blacklist was ahead, possibly way past the LaFell threshold, but now it's Echo who's pushing it, 2.5k ahead.
Well, they have gone way and above the threshold, and the way that they did it is because they understand, okay, we're just going to stay in lane. There's no use trying to out-rotate Blacklist at this point, so we're just going to say because Oheb is going to be the one that's going to deal a lot of the DPS damage later on, so shut him down first. Right now, there might be a skirmish in mid.
but the airstrike was used up just to clear up the waves. Echo, with his composition so far, can constantly be threatening these sieges, and also, they can also be looking for a lot of plays on the map. A lot of kill pressure here in their lanes.
Yep, and that's why they're ranked first in average kills so far, 16 plus, because the way that they attack the game, the way that they approach it with their strategy is they want to convert from kills. They don't want to take objectives only. They want to win first and then go from there, which is, I think, what they're doing here. They're baiting the Lord. This is a Lord dance if I've ever seen one.
Oh, Sanji's taking low. Edward jumps in, but Sanji flickers out on the final blow. The Petrify still available by Edward right now as he uses eye for an eye, but Sanford notices that. Jumps in with the bravest fighter. A lot of resources spent already as Wise looks for a better position. Haji gonna be able to actually dash in with the wings by wings as that's the Luminant Blast connecting onto Edward. Edward gonna be taken low, taken down by Sanford. And that's going to be a 50-50 play around the Lord. Wise here versus Galtizi, and Carl takes it down. There's a bond force by Oheb. Not enough to deal with damage right now. Yaoi's going to be able to get the stun down onto Haji, who's going to be able to dash out of that one with the wings by wings. Feather airstrike to snipe Sanji down. Benny! With the dash, takes the kill onto Haji.
Was that Benny Cutie DD? No, didn't even need the flicker.
Dude, that was Benny QT. And again, looking at the items here, because we got to see whether they are strong now or not. Looking at Benny Cutie, having 3 core items, Cloud Destiny, Lightning Treasure, as well as Divine Glaive. Right now, Oh My Venus getting engaged by Yaoi.
Luminant Blast again, locking the Queen down. Venus gonna be chased down under the tier 2. Wise here providing the support. Carl Teasy looking for an angle, but will back off for now. Tier 1 falling in the mid lane. Echo pushing the pace and the tempo.
Thou shalt not take my queen, says Wise. Echo pressuring mid lane tier 2, even tier 2 down bottom. That's Sanford going solo, Lord up top. Echo is 5k ahead here, 11 minutes in.
It's still not over because Blacklist International, they can still come back because they have a very beefy front line, as well as a lot of damage coming in from Haji and Oheb. Oheb just finished the Holy Crystal, looking at the damage from Haji. Haji can't connect it just yet. Carl Teasy is spotting people out. The Lord is here. Will Echo engage?
They will. Luminant Blast charged up already. Just to zone the members away. Oheb jumps in with his on force. Wise in the front lines, providing the support. Real world manipulation, baited in. Sanji not dealing enough damage for now. Blacklist just backing off. Echo doing the same thing. Noticing they have the lead. It's disciplined plays from Echo.
Relatively safe defense and siege from Echo. They did their best to get the most out of that Elemental Lord, but we have a Luminous one possibly coming up in a minute and a half, forcing out a feathered airstrike. Echo is relentless. They're not leaving.
Yeah, but look at the way Blacklist, they're defending themselves because they're not necessarily sacrificing their own HP just to defend their base. Like, they're defending everything without taking too much. So now Blacklist, they're preparing themselves. In case Echo wants to engage, they can fight back. The problem is, Echo, they're not engaging. They know that they have a lead and they're not going to lose the lead. Looking at the items as well, oh, but before that, looks like everyone is just putting everything out. Looking at Haji, he already has 2 main items. He's waiting for his own Holy Crystal. Once he has the Holy Crystal, the kill pressure is going to be a lot onto Echo. So right now, Blacklist, it looks like that's what they're waiting on. They're waiting for their carries to actually complete the items first.
It looks like Echo has cornered Blacklist into their base, and this is the trademark Blacklist defense. A lot of teams worldwide have been on the receiving end of this defensive rubber band, and it's not impossible that Blacklist still comes back, but with Echo at 6k, playing this defensively, playing this disciplined, waiting for this Lord coming up in 5 seconds, it looks like Echo also knows how to combat that.
It's going to be really tough now with a 7,000 gold lead technically built up by Echo. But with Blacklist minimalizing their losses, it seems like despite that 7,000 gold deficit, they're still able to contest, they're still able to open up the map without grouping up as 5.
Yeah, looking at the map as well, Blacklist, they're not really moving away from each other. They should understand that this Lord is going over to Echo for free. Having that Lunox makes it very difficult for you to contest.
And that's the power spike we're looking at. Echo, this is the inevitable. They have set themselves up for success here. And for Blacklist, the answer is to send Agent Zero, send Edward into the long lane and try to push that, because not a single tier 1 has fallen for Echo.
They didn't even have to use the Retribution, by the way. So Carl Teasy was able to steal the purple buff away. So right now, again, Echo are just building up the way, slowly but surely, to finally take some base turrets down.
This is what kind of feels bad as a Baras. You kind of don't care too much about your buffs getting taken away, but what you do care about is it's hard for you to maintain those stacks because Baras is at his strongest at like, what, 15 stacks? Because looking at Wise now, that is a pretty small Wise.
That's a small dinosaur there, and you're right. While Echo's taking away even the small camp, the small creeps in Blacklist jungle, and then freezing the waves, waiting for it to sink with this Lord, then this is the best that Blacklist can do. Oh, there's a couple of ults spent in. Oh, very low.
And we're gonna be caught on the Luminon Blast as Benny jumps in with the damage. And that's the combo, the notorious one. As Echo now looking for the siege into the base turret in the mid lane. Lord still marching in the top lane. Concealed play gonna be popped in. Echo looking for more. That's the airstrike popped in, but look at Stanford, he flickers under Haji, but he's gonna be able to get out for a bit. Haji gonna fall. The circling eagle does not save the queen. Oheb, the last man standing, but Echo will secure game number 1.
Ang limang Echo fans make noise all around as their team takes game 1. It's a long journey, folks. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So game 1 is great for momentum, but they still gotta watch their backs. Blacklist will pick up so quick from this victory.
Looking at this game, the reason why Echo could beat out Blacklist International is not that Blacklist necessarily made a mistake, is that Echo did not make a mistake. Because with their draft, having the Matilda, they're trying to bait out Echo to over-engage, overextend, use all of their skills early to get any kind of objectives and then fight back. But Echo, they did not do that. They won the lane. They made sure that Oheb was heavily pressured, and then after that, it's like, okay, just don't overcommit. Just take things slow, and then end the game, get profit.
Orcas are killer whales, right?
Correct.
And that's exactly why they know how to use the kill pressure so well. In the gold lane, they knew Lunox versus Herod is a winning lane for the Lunox. Benny QT on a winning matchup. That's already a recipe for disaster if you're a Blacklist fan. Now, they utilized that so much by ganking towards the Lunox. Early on, they weren't going to be able to find those skills, right? But as the Lunox progresses, with the levels starting to gain up, and with those items starting to stack up, that's when the Lunox gets the power spike in the mid-game, and they utilized that perfectly.
Not just the laning phase, actually even in team fights, Oheb's Harith was in such trouble. Again, we saw there the winning moment from the eyes of Sanford. His Lapu-Lapu here, despite having a difficult 5 to 6 minutes, picked up. Again, I think he was just waiting for LaFell's timing and saying, you know what, I need a couple of kills, I need the blood, the Festival of Blood to have triggers, and the Bloodlust Axe.
Exactly.
And then even Oheb is in trouble. So with that being said, I think we're gonna need the help of our analysts to break this down. There's a lot that happened here, starting with the draft, a lot as well that went into the mid-game spike for Echo, and even Blacklist struggled to find the rubber band. That's what's scary about the squad, the Orcas. Again, you're right, they're killer whales. When they smell blood, they go for it, and they have perfected the execution. Even when it comes to lore dances, fellas, right? It's so hard to deny that Echo knows exactly what's happening. So with that being said, we're just waiting for our analysts to call in, because I'm pretty sure they'll have a field day with this. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to remind you that Battle Night is about to happen. That's happening on January 21st. We've got a lot going on, so make sure you log into the game. There's a lot of in-game bonuses that y'all can have, all right? Extra BP, star protection points, free hero access, epic skins that come out that very night. So make sure y'all log in, all right? That's happening on January 21st. Let's all celebrate the M4 World Championships. Whoever takes it home, whether it be Echo or Blacks International, let's all celebrate and tell all of your friends. Now, folks, I think we've said enough here on the desk. It's LaFell, Mirko, and Leo throwing it over to the analysts, because they're going to talk about the draft, show us who the MVP is, because I still think it's not so clear-cut. Real quick, who do you think it is?
Oh man, it's a really tough
Benny
one
Cutie.
here. You're gonna say Benny, I'll say
I'm saying
Sanford. Both of the side lanes.
Okay.
You know
Now
what,
I'm
Sanji?
confused.
I have to swap. Sanji, there you go.
You said, because between Benny and Sanford, that's exactly the perfect setup or payoff. Who's who, right?
I mean, like, okay, let's just slowly talk about it, because Betty Cutie, he stopped the win condition for Blacklist. I mean, to be fair, Blacklist, they gotta win the river, they gotta win the jungle, but it could not happen, even if, say, this game extends a little bit longer, right? Betty Cutie was scaled up. Wise will not be able to sustain the damage coming in from the Lunas, because again, there's no Estes, there's no healing. He can run away, but when he comes back, it's not gonna be much. So for me, it's Manicutie.
Okay, Ding Ding, Sanford, or Sanji?
You know what? I'm gonna make a last minute change here. I think I'm gonna give it to Carl TZ, actually. The hidden carry.
Okay, best in the world. Let's see who it actually is because it's time for the analysts to break it down. Hey, fellas, talk to us.
Great MVP predictions so far. Thank you so much, Leo, LaFell, and as well as Mirko. Here at the Analyst Stand, we're going to break it down to you to uncover the mysteries of what this code is so far and what Echo is doing correct. My name is Gideon Q. This is going to be Most Wanted in Southeast Asia, Wolf, as well as Assassin Dave. You are going to be the mediator here, and it's important that you give a non-biased opinion. I repeat, a non-biased opinion. But with that being said, let's break down straight from the draft. I mean, so far, really strong start coming in from Echo.
Now, I gotta say, I really like the Lolita come from Yaoi because every time you give this player anything that can initiate, that can set up a good team fight, this player will pop off. And you saw it in the last game, right? The entire set of Echo, they had a momentum. They understand which objective do they want, which tower do they want to pressure. Yeah. And you saw Yaoi was set up camps on the top tier 1 tower, and they find a lot of early game pressure to mid-game pressure.
Oh, there's already the code that Blacklist International has done, right? We know the pattern of what they're doing. Actually, if you're looking at that game, it's a pretty standard Blacklist game. What Echo did differently this time is they snatched this hero, Lolita. That's why I really agreed with Assassin Dave when he said that Lolita was a great pick, because not only does it like present to us how good Yaoi was, but also how good the drafting plan was for the side of Echo. They countered everything that Blacklist wanted to do with their picks.
Well, if we're talking about the draft, I mean, those are the bans, but the picks overall, I think to the naked eye, most people would understand that, honestly, they're kind of the same thing. They have the exact same goals with very slightly different tools.
Yeah, and I want to mention that in this game, it's one of the first games in the entire series that we do not have any marksman at all. Right? Like there's a Lunox versus Ohab on the Harith, on the goal lane, which is quite interesting because Benny's Lunox actually counter Harith in the late game. You can one-shot with the combo that Lunox has in the kit. And you can look at items. Benny is fully decked out on damage items, no defense whatsoever.
Yeah, he didn't need to because of the fact that he has a lot of peeling, right? You have Yakai to frontline for you, have Lolita to kind of save you in those dire situations, and the Lapu Lapu as well. Blacklist International, like we said, this is the normal code, a standard place like coming off Blacklist International, but the order of picks allowed for Echo to actually kind of win over those matchups. Lapu Lapu kind of wins versus Benedetta in many regards. Akai can win versus the Akai if you think about it, it's kind of 50-50 if you think about it, but of course Yaoi, not only did he prevent like the combo of Blacklist International, he also protected their own Lunox. That's why I really like how Echo designed game number 1.
Yeah, and I like it too. Personally, when it comes down to the little details, the little tools that they have, I mean, the fact is, Yves, it's really hard to break her out of the real world manipulation unless you have a suppress. And again, I mean, Oh My Venus can't really do much about it. The same goes for Edward, but you can't say the same thing for Echo because you have Lapu Lapu jumping in on the far side, which already is one difference maker. Let's not forget about the invulnerability coming out of Benny QT.
Absolutely, and one thing that I want to mention for Echo in the game 1 was momentum, right? It felt like in the beginning of the game, Blacklist really captured the momentum of the game, but somehow towards the mid to late game is when Echo really start pushing, right? They push a top tier 1 tower, they find the objective-based play, and they give them so much clarity on exactly what they need to do. With a player like Yaoi on the setup, that was just clear gameplay.
Yeah, it wasn't easy though. For 7 minutes, they kept on trying to break the momentum of Blacklist International. Blacklist were leading a little bit. Echo was trying to take out Oheb up top. Eventually, after 7 to 8 minutes, Sanji was able to land the killing blow onto Oheb. It did, it did require them to have a lot of tries, but they were successful in the end. And 2-0-8, we saw this, Gideon. We reacted to this. His flicker to the left side during the Lord fight, that was crazy. That was, criminal.
That was criminal gaming for sure.
He is just stealing hearts and stealing minds at this point. The conditioning is starting to build up, but this is only game number 1. So people at the caster's desk, this is your MVP going over to Sanji. I'll let that sit in for a little bit longer, but I think, we really have to make sure that the draft doesn't escalate for this, especially if you are in Blacklist's position. Are there adaptations that we're expected to see?
Yeah, and Sanji, well-deserved MVP here. I want to mention one of the lore fight you talk about, he flickered to the left side. That was beautiful, and also he was lingering with 1 HP, right?
Yeah.
Like very little HP, and he still has so much impact. Just to show you how much impact he had in the early game, this is from the beginning of the game to 5 minutes. You can take a look at Sanji's heat map, right? This guy in the mid lane was dominating the mid lane and started rotating towards EXP because Turtle was towards the bottom side in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, and then eventually you will go to the gold lane where they want to really kill Oheb back out up top. They know that the way for them to win the mid-game team fights is to deny Oheb to the farm. But then again, you can see a Blacklist International how many times they have saved Oheb. Now Oheb also played it well, but eventually they will have to fall to the tempo of.
You know, in the beginning, Blacklist had a momentum because they understand that win condition as well.
Right.
That's why you saw Farsa going towards the top side to help Oheb so much. I think we're gonna capture some highlights here. Whoa, this is one of the engages, even though the Turtle went through Blacklist, but Echo got 2 kills out of it.
I think even more so, like you could see just the small little plays coming out from everybody here. They're trying their absolute best to make sure that they minimize the profit coming in from either side. But once the momentum started to fall into Echo's favor, I think this is where things started to change, especially for the gold lane.
That's right. We have to talk about Krautings here, right? Although we aren't seeing a lot, the way he secured all of these turtles, then eventually the First Lord, then constantly just applying the pressure against Blacklist International while keeping himself safe and really just reaching around the Lord area. I think that's also amazing coming out from Krautings himself.
Yeah, absolutely. Here from the highlights, you see how clear Echo rotation were, right? They know exactly where they're going. They know exactly which tower they're trying to get. And sure enough, it paid them many dividends.
Yeah.
And I think going to game 2, Blacklist need to think about their momentum as well.
Yeah.
Once they had a game plan, you stick to the game plan instead of being disrupted by Echo.
I see.
Yeah, you know, we are not allowed to like predict the draft because we're not going to be drafting, right? But I kind of want to predict. I think Lolita is going to be a prime commodity next game.
All right, Lolita could be the commodity here. Casters, are you ready? Because game 2 is about to begin. Take it away.
The bespectacled boys of the analyst stand are getting heated. Who wouldn't, right? With a matchup like this, Blacklist International versus Echo with the Orcas drawing first blood. There's a huge case for everyone to be MVP, but yes, we had to take our hats off for Sanji there. Real quick, let me remind everybody about the M4 Battle Night goes live this January 21st. Expect loads of events and rewards up for grabs in-game. First off, complete battle tasks in the game on January 21st to get a skin choice chest. You can choose a skin you like the most from the chest. Aside from that, battle bonus awaits you on the same day. Play matches and you'll get team star protection for 3 matches. Double star raising points, double protection points, double EXP and double BP for 5 matches. We are not stopping there. 5 matches. Again, you gotta play them. Free access to all heroes and loads of epic skins will also be available that very day. Save the date, log into the game on January 21st. Enjoy the matches you play and win tons of rewards. Let's all celebrate the M4 championships together, including your friends. I'm on desk here with Mirko and LaFell. And again, it was mentioned earlier and they showed us everyone can carry from Echo.
And that's why we had such a hard time predicting the MVP for game number 1, right? Because, sure, you said it was Benny. Benny did maybe close to the most damage onto the Barats, especially just melting him down. Sanji with very good zone, very good damage too. In the end, I said Carl Tizzy, right? Because the way they played in that team fight was every single member from the side of Echo had their own agenda, had their own tasks, right? They were going to dish out damage. Some of them are going to put Blacklist in a disarray where the front to back that Blacklist have drafted for themselves would not work. Meanwhile, Blacklist, they played for this one vision, one mission. And that's what gave Echo the upper hand.
So now we got to look at the hero pick recap. And yeah, Sanji did a lot of damage. 59,000 damage. That is a lot. But yes, like you said, the way that they're moving around with this draft, I would say this is quite a difficult draft for you to play discipline at because there's a lot of ways for you to start the fight. So you are tempted to actually start the fight. But the way that they're doing it is they completely understand we don't have to. As long as Blacklist are not here, are not present to protect their turrets, to protect their jungle, then we're just gonna focus on getting the objectives. Like we see Echo, they can play explosively. But it looks like for this game, they have very much matured. And I like that I said before, they learn fast. And they learn very fast. In this game, they're only doing what is necessary.
Yep, in hindsight, given what Echo has employed, it's a clear box strategy. Again, you see it on the map. It's the Eve, and then you have the Akai who either pulls someone in or pushes them out. For Blacklist, I think they were put into a position, forced into a position wherein they had to break that box. If they couldn't, then they were on the back foot, And that's why Game 1 went to Echo.
And I love the fact that in the early game, right, Echo, the way they played it was they're completely fine with actually throwing bodies at Blacklist International. Sure, here, have a frontliner, have another, because it's always just Yaoi and Carl Tizzy who actually gets taken down, right? With that, they give so much space to the other carries, the Sanji, the Sanford, and even Benny to pop off.
And folks, with that being said, it's so important again to pay attention to the draft. You can't go into war without the right tools, the right equipment to win you those battles. Going into game 2 here, it's about time we get into the draft. LaFell, what changes do you expect?
I'm expecting a change in the way that they're drafting for OHEB because even in their key to victories, you got to look at OHEB to really carry the game. And for him to have an easier time, he needs to make sure he wins the lane. Sometimes that does mean you're going to delay your hero a little bit, potentially getting banned out in the later stage of the game. But at least you have the information to know what's going on. And in fact, looking at the draft right now, we talked about it in the pre-show where Blacklist International, they do the best as a second pick. So far right now, in the first pick, they don't have the necessary information of what Echo wants to do. So, you know, it's one of those things that we don't talk about so much, but as a team, not having their preferred, I would say, side to the pick and ban may actually hurt them as well.
And that's exactly what's very interesting here, right? Because Echo, they do better in the first pick position. Now they're actually popping off on the red side of the map, second pick. Meanwhile, for Blacklist, like you mentioned, they do enjoy being the second pick a bit more. We saw from the statistics earlier on, 72% win rate. But here, you can see the adjustment also made by Echo. In game number 1, they banned out the Estes in the second phase of draft. Now, they're prioritizing it here, but they're leaving out a hero. Open. Blacklist did this. They banned it. Fredrin.
And now, this just shows the priorities that Blacklist have. Being here in blue side, having that one pick is so powerful because you get to build the lineup around it. And the answer by Echo is a Farsa and a Glue. The Glue, more of a hero that we don't ever see. And given that the Fredrin was the focus for Blacklist, now Echo have, again, solid choices for drawing that box.
My question is, because they're picking up the glue, are they like trying to bait Blacklist International picking up the Faramis? Because the Faramis is one of the counters for glue, but it looks like they're not going to bite. They're just going to take the Valentina.
Nope.
And this shuts down a lot of playmaking ultimates, just like the Grok with his wild charge. But before we go even further, this is a quote by Tic Tac. Their chemistry is really solid since they've been together for a long time. It's so hard to cut them down. This is the hardest part in fighting Blacklist International.
And I completely agree, Coach Dick. They have been together even before they won the World Championship. And now, a year has passed, and they're still here. They're still making a claim for that trophy that we're all looking at, the center of the stage. Going into the second phase, Echo bans out XP lane choices, because again, Sanford's happy with the glue. They go ahead and ban out the Lapu Lapu. I just gotta say, there's an odd absence of joy.
Yeah, the joy here not really going to be prioritized by any of the teams in the first phase. Heck, we might even, we might even actually see it ignored completely in the draft for game number 2. Joy is a bit of a gimmick hero. That's what I call her, right? Because it's all about just distracting the enemy team. Anyways, though, I do want to talk a little bit about this XP lane or just Blacklist International's draft, because in a lot of their drafts here, we usually see that Fredrin is used as a flex pick. Not for Blacklist, though. Every single time the Fredrin is picked up by Blacklist, well, not every single time, but 90% of the time, it's jungle, right? Yeah. They always want a playmaker on Edward. That's the reason you're still seeing that Lapu ban here, the respect being given out, and also the Claude ban. They want to get rid of a hero that can blink out of the Detonus Welcome, can blink out of the real pure engage from the glue, and even from the poke that's coming in from the Farsa.
But I still like the way that Blacklist is drafting because we've discussed that the way that they're going to win is through OHEB as well as AdWords. So now that they've seen at least 80% of the draft coming in from Echo, now they should have enough information to really understand what kind of heroes they should get, because if OHEB and Edward loses lane, they're going to lose priority in the jungle or the riverside, and that's really going to impact how Blacklist plays. So this last 2 picks will really impact, because at least now they see the Brody. What do you want to use against the Brody?
They still need a Matrix. yes, but they also still need to put a hero on Agent Zero, and that might be the key. Benedetta's still open here, but it looks like Echo has an answer. Oh, nope, there you go. We mentioned the Joy.
And
they left it
instantly,
open.
It's the Franco from Yaoi too. I love it, right? Again, we mentioned about the Joy. More of a distraction than a prio pick, right?
Yes.
But it is a good pick here. Noticing that Blacklist International, they're going to have that back line really targeted down by Echo. So what the Joy is going to do here is to create space by being that annoying hero in the enemy back line. Thing is though, Echo waited for this. They knew it was coming, right? It was either they went for a Kufra pick, a Cho pick, or they see the Joy, instantly they go for the Franco, they can lock the Joy down.
Yeah, but given that Show is banned out, Echo had the ball in their court. It was their shot to make. You mentioned the Kufra. Yaoi had a lot of
Crazy games on the Kufra.
chance to play that, but instead they go for the Franco. You know, a game lost be damned, but we don't care about it going into the Valentina. We don't care if Haji gets it. And looking at it, is it going to the hands of Valentina? Yes, of course, yes, Haji, because again, there's a Fredrin. That's definitely Wise's hero.
Yeah, I'm just going to say we're going into game number 2. Blacklist International going up against Echo. And what I wanted to say was that Echo picked up the most banned hero of Blacklist International. They keep banning out this Franco. So now Franco in the hands of Echo. This might be a bad game for Blacklist.
Yep, and the reason why is because it breaks the Ube. You don't get to engage on your terms. And in the hands of the playmaker, Yaoi, it's going to be a great way to, again, either set up a box that Blacklist is not comfortable with, or break whatever Blacklist is trying to do.
And this is a similar approach to, again, what RRQ did against Echo yesterday, right? They picked up that Franco, but unfortunately for RRQ, they didn't have anything to build around the Franco. Meanwhile here, I was questioning the Brody pick earlier on. I was like, what? Brody into Lolita? Then you see the Franco and you're like, there you go. That's what it was for. You hook the opponent away, and what's the Lolita gonna do, right? Sure, she can actually jump in, flicker maybe to get that shielding down, but it's a bit too risky, and if Venus is on the receiving end of the hook, it's gonna be a lot to deal with here, and Venus right now is gonna be caught. Yaoi gonna throw the iron hook. Good dodge by Venus.
Yeah, looking at this game, Blacklist International, I would say after the group stages, this Franco is a nightmare for them because it is the reason why they've lost. So now we got to see their evolved form. Have they been able to find a way to fight against this Franco? Right now, looking at the lanes, not a lot is going on. Wise goes down to fight against Sanford, but I don't think they can secure a kill here.
Too sustainable, gets out of that one. Wise is level 4, Carl Tizzy as well. Both of these junglers clearing very, very fast. In the end, it's Hachi who actually steals the gold buff away.
Yep, looking at a potential 3v3, 4v4 down bottom as they both jockey for position, finding a good pull for this Lord. And it looks like Echo is the one first on the scene. Carl Tizzy whacking away. Oh, there's a ult!
Yeah, Sanford zoning very, very well here with a split as well. Bringing Wise away. Numenor Blast gonna be charged in. Onto Carl Tizzy, but no! It's Yaoi who finds the iron hook, and Carl Tizzy finds the retribution. Edward on the back line. That's a stolen for the airstrike as the Bloody Hunt comes down onto Edward to lock him down. Sanford finding Wise, the flicker over. Edward picking up another. It's a 2-for-1 right now. Echo still equal though in terms of the trade because they secured the turtle.
I like how Blacklist played that fight just now because even though they were focusing on the turtle, they kind of understood that it's not 100%. It's not even 50-50. It was kind of a 60-40 at that point. So they tried to find the alternate win condition around the turtle, which is try to get a little bit more kills. So they were willing to expand a lot of their resources there. Looking at the items right now, really not a lot of power spikes just yet. The Beatrix here, piloted by Oheb, understands that there is a chance he's going to get attacked, and right now, Carl Tizzy is getting attacked.
He is the frontliner though, so he's happy taking that damage in. Haji is gonna be the one losing a whole lot of HP from Sanji. Venus does too, and now that mid control is for Echo.
And you're seeing here the difference between Haji and Sanji, a Valentina and a Farsa. It seems like now, when the ult is ready on Sanji, he's just willing to pull it out and then force Haji to respond. It's all about timing. It's all about engagement. And Yaoi, did he do it? No, the Filipino sniper still confirms the gold crab.
That was an insane calculation, man. An insane micro play by Oheb, right? He knows exactly how it was gonna go down, even with the snipes there.
I gotta say, in my head, he was holding his breath and like, 1, 2, just get it. And I just want to touch a little bit about the emblems because in terms of scaling, I kind of feel like Blacklist, they have an advantage because OHEB is using a marksman emblem compared to Benecutie using the assassin emblem. He's going to have a lot of damage, but still, in terms of scaling, Blacklist, they have it in the bag, and now looks like Echo, they're just going to push Blacklist away. Don't push too hard.
Oh, not an engagement that Echo wants to go for because, again, they spent a few ults there. Mind you, Yawi still has the Bloody Hunt, still has a hook waiting on him. Benecutie as well, torn apart memory, goes for a pull, Numinum Blast charged up by the Queen, then as well by Carl Teasy.
And Carl Teasy is going to be able to spin him out. That's the Bloody Hunt, locking Edward down. Edward taking low, but still able to survive for now. Torn apart memory going to be popped in as Benny flickers forward to pick up the kill. Turtle over to Blacklist right now as Sanford jumps in with Swiss Split, bringing Venus back for the damage to come through once again. Sanji picking up. Yawi almost finding the Iron Hook. That's demobilized. Haji pours the flicker out, and Echo will be able to take the better trade.
2-0. Turtle goes over to Blacklist, though, as well. It's actually Echo who took it. Wow, clear win now for the Orcas.
Yeah, clear win because they have a lot of bursts in the early stages of the game because Wise being in the front line, he can CC them for a bit, and OHEB, that was lucky that he did not get hooked, and so far OHEB will be fine. Looking at the items, clear power spikes right now. Looking at Edward, he's not going to be tanking a lot, but he can do a lot of damage because of the Genius Wand, so as long as he can prolong the fight, he can really help himself out, as well as Haji. Speaking of which, Haji is using a scale kind of itemization, so he's not going to be too strong right now, but I would say in 8 minutes, he's really gonna power through Echo.
Yeah, and honestly, I do really want to talk about how Blacklist International are negating the bully potential from the Brody, right? Because earlier we saw the lane frozen by Benecutie in that lane. Wise instantly stopped by into the gold lane, even risking his life just to help OHEB clear it out. And this is what's gonna get Blacklist to that item power spike for OHEB in the gold lane. The Beatrix has been farming very well, considering that he is in a losing matchup up against that Brody.
Yep, and we're just waiting for that to flourish. We're just waiting for that to get the payoff. Bottom lane, though, you see the XP laner just leaving constantly. Very good wave clear from both the Joy and the Blue. Oh, the pull on Wise!
The Iron Hook, and that's going to be Bloody Hunt. Chain in, but that's as welcome as Edward jumps in with a lot of damage coming down. Sanji with the wings by wings, getting out. Numinum Blast, and for the airstrike stolen away by Haji with the IMU. Bennett's Rage, able to find the kill onto Sanford. Carl Teasy going to be gunned down. That's the Iron Hook to provide the peel necessary for Carl Teasy. It's a 1-for-1. The XP lane traded in for the jungler.
Wait, look at Benecutie.
Oh, watch out, Benny from the back line. OHEB hasn't spotted him yet. We're going for the turtle. There's the pull. Yawi as well. Look at this. Prime positioning from the Echo squad. Oh, he's revealed. There's the hook.
Yawi missed it. Gonna be stunned up. Venus actually onto the turtle. Carl Teasy with a quarter of his HP bar. Oh, that's the feather airstrike prematurely popped in. Sanji's gonna be zoned away now, but Benny, again, this is the man that we're gonna be looking at. Wise, gonna be hooked down. That's the moment for Benny to jump in. That's the damage coming through the turnaround memory as well. To take the turtle and to take OHEB. Carl Teasy with the Death's welcome. Not gonna be able to find it just yet. Sanford onto Venus, bringing him back. Numinum Blast gonna be popped in, but he's not gonna be able to get charged all the way. Edward, stunned up, suppressed. Bloody Hunt popped in. Yawi gonna fall to the hands of Edward as Sanford still wants to keep on going. Sanji rotating back into the mid lane. Why is gonna be brought back? It's a pause here in the 7th minute of the game.
Messy engagement, and the payoff was just about to come up. Benecutie able to hide in that bush, put a few marks on several members of Blacks International, plus on the turtle, which allows Echo to pummel on through forward, but you can't discount the fact that Blacklist played that very well as well.
Yeah, Blacklist played it very well, but again, Benecutie just understanding the situation, not understanding like just his hero, just Blacklist hero, but he's like, okay. Because I kind of feel like a lot of people looking at that situation, OHEB was kind of isolated by his team. It was prime prime position to just stun him up, get some stacks in, and then just kill him off just like that. But he's like, no, I'm gonna wait SA. I'm gonna make sure everyone is close enough. He gets into turret range. He can get stacks onto a lot of people and get maximum value from his ult. And that's what he did. He got maximum value from his ult.
And again, there's a very thin line between, I guess, a mistake and being local, right?
That was pretty local.
That was so close for it to being a mistake. But the fact that Benny's still alive now, at the cost of Carl Teasy's life, it allowed for it to be local.
And it comes down to trigger discipline, right? The fact that he was in the bush for so long. Even Yaoi is spotted, and he still stuck. He was like,
And
okay,
no one checked the bush
I'm
as well.
committing, bro. I'm committing. And he committed, right? Because Yaoi was spot out already, they were like, no way. There's no way a Brody is waiting in that bush.
Yep.
It turns out, that's how Benny plays, buddy.
No way a marksman will flank, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
like
have you
an
met
assassin
Benny?
kind of thing.
Yeah, Benny's an assassin sometimes. You can kind of say he's an assassin because of the way he plays these marksmen. He flickers forward, he looks for flanks, and here we're gonna see the player head to head.
Never let them know your next move. That's what Benny did. Never let them know your next move.
And that's what makes him a force of nature. That's what makes him the storm. He just comes up. And here, leading these two players, the gold laners, are these roamers, all right? Yaoi, the playmaker, and his idol, Mumshu, oh my Venus. Again, they're two different kinds of roamers, two different kind of team captains, but the way that they lead their teams are just perfect for their playstyle.
We've seen it, right? Again, Yaoi with more flashy heroes, but for Venus, it's time to enable, but here we're gonna be put in right into the team fight. Echo with, actually it's a pretty good trade now that I see it for Blacklist.
died.
Not
Yeah.
that bad.
Yeah.
Benny actually fell, but the airstrike though from Sanji in the mid lane, making it in favor of Echo.
All right, something transpired in between the time we resumed and paused in, but for now, real quick, folks, Blacklist forcing out a push up top. Buff still secured per side, and we're looking at a possible kill on Edward.
Nope. That's Edward for you. Gets out in relative ease again, right? Echo trying pressure, but now it's just for Blacklist International to punish in the goal, well, in the other side of the map, which is going to be the XP lane. They even tried to deny as much as possible from Benny, forced to use the torn apart memory to get those last hits.
This is the world stage, so I'm allowed to be a little bit more critical looking at the way that the game is transpiring. Oh, never mind, Yaoi.
We just spoke about this. Yaoi versus Venus, and Yaoi is going to be able to find that iron hook. Connecting onto Wise, bringing it back under the tier 1, and that's everyone collapsing. Benny with a torn apart memory back up on that cooldown is going to be able to secure it. Feather airstrike now on to Haji and Oheb. Haji going to be stunned up, has the feather airstrike, but both teams disengage.
King and the Queen in a flash goes out. I mean, Edward able to make the most of a bad situation, but LaFell, what does this mean?
First of all, I just want to say I'm so glad I was interrupted because I was about to say Blacklist was actually looking pretty good because Oheb is going to scale up and Yaoi's not hitting the hooks, but never mind. Yaoi got a very crucial hook, and the thing is, this is the time where Benny Cutie, I would say, is almost at his max because he already has his Blade of Despair as well as the Fury Hammer. Enough penetration, enough raw damage. This is the time you force the fight. This is not about waiting. If you see an opportunity, just go for it.
And it looks like Blacklist has already found their window. Haji pulling out Sanford, Carl Teasy losing the pull battle against Wise. Blacklist have a small favorable position over the Lord. It's closer to the south, closer to Wise. They spot on Venus. Yaoi throws out a hook.
Now
And the Lord dance continues.
it's a very slow Lord dance. It's a macro-centric play here. Mid-control. Steve fought for, and that's going to conceal though. Yeah, we're going to be able to find Haji with Bloody Hunt as well. That's the damage coming through, and a turn apart memory finds its mark. The Venom Rage to follow it through. Yeah, we're going to be taken down. Sanford jumps in with split. Venus putting them on blast, stunning him up right now. Skull Teasy going to be taunted up. Kind of airstrike to the back line. Oh, it's going to be caught. Wise now with the Appraiser's Wrath. Still able to sustain for a bit as Sanford still on that split. Jumps back away.
Still
Venus
going.
taken low. That's going to be Benny dealing out of damage. Now with the torn apart memory. Benny QT with a flicker forward again. Styling on Blacklist International.
That team fight could not have been better for Echo. 4 down, no clap back from Blacklist, and Echo now making a beeline straight for this Elemental Lord.
Okay, now Edward coming in, not gonna be able to steal. But yeah, in this game, objectives are important. And Sanford, he's gonna get chased, will actually get down. Yaoi stops the progression of Edward. And as I'm saying, objectives are very important, but it doesn't have to be the turrets. It doesn't have to be the Lord kills are objectives as well. And again, Echo, their draft, they have a lot of big potential. So they're really using their draft to the finest. I like the way that they approached it. Don't fight the Lord. Kill them first.
And they did. They found bodies, pushed them all the way behind tier 2 down bottom. And it's putting on my Venus, who just hit the ranked first one, average assist 10.4 per game here in M4, into a weird position. When do I use Numinum Blast? When do I protect my teammates? When do I find a proactive spot, a window for us to clap back? And it's looking harder and harder by the minute. Echo pushes mid tier 1, and now they're threatening tier 2 as well. Watch Sanji, he's concealed.
Yeah, and he pops in the Feather Airstrike, zoning Oheb away as Edward jumps in closer. Sanji with the wings by wings, getting out. Feather Airstrike being popped, Sanji flickers out. Call TZ, finding the Death welcome onto Wise, gonna be stunned up again. Una blast out from Venus, out of nowhere. Sanford still in the front lines, Benny QT dealing with damage right now as Edward's gonna be able to jump into the back line, but the Bloody Hunt catches Edward, and a torn apart memory silences him, takes him down. Sanji with the wings by wings, Oheb gonna be taken low, forced to flicker out by Yowie, and Sanford flicker forward. Now, Echo still on the march, with the Feather Airstrike taking Venus down. Haji is all alone, terrifying Yowie. Still able to survive with Iron Hook. Connects again, and Echo have wiped out Blacklist International. They're looking for the end. No minions on the board. They're forced to back away.
5 for 1 plus 2 major objectives pushed in by the Orcas. This is both discipline and ruthlessness. LaFell, where'd they pull this from?
First of all, I gotta say, there's a reason why Franco is the most banned hero for Blacklist International. I kind of feel like going to the next game, it has to be put into contention. Now, Blacklist, how this really happens is because Echo always finds a way to actually dish out damage onto Oheb, because every single fight, look at where Oheb is positioning. It's not that his positioning bad, it's just that he has to constantly run away. He has to run away from Benny Cutie. He has to run away from Sanji, from Sanford, from Yowie. There's so many ways he can get caught, and it's so hard to micromanage all of it, especially when Echo, the way that they attack, sometimes Oheb doesn't see it coming.
It sounds like Blacklist has been overloaded by Burst and also a good amount of CC. And those two things are lethal against a lineup like Blacklist, against the Ube strat. And they just can't pull it off here as Benny Cutie forces a push up top. And that's a clean tier 2 tower take, gonna help open up this Luminous Lord for Echo. Now 8K ahead, 8K ahead at 13 minutes.
That's insane. And on top of that, Benny's on a hero like the Brody, who snowballs like an absolute monster. And you can see here, this is the play by Blacklist International. They still want to contest. Lord taken to half HP. Carl TZ still on it. This is the Lord dance at the mid lane. Pressure will be popped in from Echo. 8,000 gold lead. The Feather Airstrike will be popped in the zone. Other members away. Carl TZ with the left is welcome. Finding it. Haji stealing. The Feather Airstrike again. The Feather Strange out of the Mount Blast. Why steals it away? Yowie got the Bloody Hunt, but it's all for naught. Sanford all alone. Yowie's gonna be gunned down. No alone. But Benny QT again with the back door.
Damn you, Benny! Damn you! On the world stage! He takes game 2 away from Blacklist International.
I just gotta say, man, the way they set up the entire map, they're setting up for a checkmate. And then Benny Cutie is like, I don't care about pawns, I don't even care about queen. I'm going for the king. And that is the crystal there right now. 2-0 Echo over Blacklist International.
What is this man made of? Oh my God, how many times has he found this play?
The storm, the typhoon, the hurricane, Bagyong Benny, born and bred to split lanes and take games.
Wow.
The shot calling, though, that was needed to make that play happen.
I mean, again, it looks like Echo is not just they understand the draft, they just understand Blacklist in general. You guys want to clump up together, go ahead. Hey, we're going to take the Lord. You're going to contest for it, right? Well, go ahead. We're going to split push. I think this is just critical understanding of what Blacklist is going to do before Blacklist even does it. Because, again, throughout the game, they're still winning the lanes. And look at how they're rotating around the map because, okay, I'm not the analyst here. I mean, I'm analyst on the desk, but not on the stand. But look at how when the Lord was being pushed, Sanford, he could have pushed as well, but he avoided it. He went straight to the Lord, and he didn't care about the Lord. He didn't care about the jungler. No. He just went straight to Oheb. And he doesn't care. I just want to slow down Oheb. And then because of that, everyone was focused. We got to take care of Oheb. Now that they're taking care of Oheb, wait, Benny Cutie.
Yeah, it's sensory overload, and it came down to the fact that Blacklist could not respond, and that's how Echo took game number 2. More on that in just a bit. We'd like to remind everyone and give a special shout out to Secret Lab, the official gaming chair partner of M4. We're talking about a built-in lumbar support system that you can adjust to your spine, an incredible magnetic memory foam head pillow, and brand new fabrics in all sorts of colors and designs. The Secret Lab Titan Evo 2022 gaming chair is designed to keep everyone seated in incredible comfort for a long time. I'm talking about a best of 7 that goes all the way. In the MPL Philippines Grand Finals in Season 10, they went to Game 6, and boy oh boy, was I ready for more. And here tonight, I hope everyone is. But it looks like Echo are thinking something else. They're going fast here. They're going way too fast for the world champions to respond. But with that being said, on behalf of Mirko and LaFell, we're going to throw it over to the analysts.
Thanks, Leo. But today we are seeing a team that has perfected a technique. Science plus violence. Get out of the way, Hurricane Katrina, because Benny QT is going after your homes. They're going after your base. Welcome back to the Analyst Stand. My name is Getting Cute. This is going to be Assassin Dave as well as Wolf here to break it down for you one more time. This is an outstanding performance coming out from Echo.
There are a few things I want to mention. Number 1, momentum going towards Echo. Number 2, the name of the game is Sanford and Benny QT, right? Those two were popping off in that game. I mean, like, Sanford was literally 1v4ing with the glue. He's the monster, aka Glue Monster. I mean, like, what can Blacklist do at this point?
You know, they have to stop the momentum of Echo for sure, but it's like the opposite way around. Blacklist want to play their own brand of the game, their own code, right? And we saw that in back-to-back games. They know how to operate, they know these heroes, the ins and outs of the Ube strategy that they're trying to employ against Echo, but it's just that Echo is just stopping them in their tracks. I think that the reason why Blacklist are losing back-to-back games is because they kept on playing the same game.
Here's the thing, right? In the background, when we were talking and discussing about this draft, something about Echo that really stands out is the fact that, you know, they're not tunnel visioning anymore. They're not playing hyper defensively. They have playmaking capabilities.
Absolutely, and let's take a look at the item, right? Benny QT with 10,000 gold, closer to 11,000 gold, A1-1. In fact, everybody's KDA on the carry position, right? 5-1-11 on Sanford, 5-0-8 on Sunji. All these carry positions are absolutely dominating. Now, I'm interested to find out the MVP later on once we get there, because I think even though we got so much farm, so much resource to Benny, it's actually Sanford who set up the play for the teammates.
Okay, now we're going to be jumping over to the post stats here, and I'm really interested to see the overall team fight participation. Ooh. Edward having 100%, but the control from Echo. Like, imagine Edward being part of every single one of these fights, and yet Echo, not one of them, not even 100%. They are dividing and conquering so well.
Yeah, and you know, you're talking about how Sanford was instrumental in this, playmaking potential, right, from coming up from Gideon. Totally agree with you guys, because I think that Echo, their shot selection in this game, particularly internal fights, was amazing, was on point. Sanford knows who to jump onto. Even he chooses sometimes Oh My Venus, sometimes it's going to be Wise. It depends on the situation, what the situation calls for, so that Echo will win those turtle fights. Then, when it comes to those crucial moments where there's like a 50-50 or even like the odds are in their favor, they utilize the spacing coming out from Yahweh's Franco and of course Galti's Daytona's welcome to displace Blacklist International for them to not get into their bubble.
Absolutely, right? Sanford on the Glue Monster was insane. He has pinpoint accuracy. You're absolutely on point on that. He knows exactly which person to carry away, right? In objective, in turtle fights, and also in lore fights. Sometimes you get to the back line. I remember this one time when Benny Kuti flickered in for the ultimate, for a torn apart memory, get a double kill, and that was all set up by Sanford.
Yeah.
He was literally 1v4ing, taking all the damage, and staying alive.
Personally, for me, I don't know what the communications coming in from Echo is going to sound like, but I can't wait for them to drop it. But let's have a look at the MVP of this game, Benny QT. Domination, and more importantly, nobody escapes this hurricane.
And I think that it is now safe for me to say, for all over the world, that he is now the holder of the gold standard, gold lane standard. The way he positions himself is amazing to look at. It's textbook, right? If you want to learn how to utilize and position a marksman, do look at Benicuti's games because of how he's able to just win the matchups in the laning stage. Eventually, team fights, his timing with the flicker and the ultimate was phenomenal.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out about Benny in this game, he put out the very characteristic and very special Echo-style split push, right? The marksman split push in the late game. Just when you think, okay, the Brody has to be in the team fight. I mean, there's a marksman, there's the most damage source, he got the most farm, he has to be here. And the next thing you know, your base is gone. This guy has 45% kill participation only, and yet he's the win condition, right, for the team.
All right, let's sniff out a little bit of how Benny QT actually plays the way he does, how he positions himself with the heat.
And yet he's the win split push in the late game. Just when you think, okay,
push. Then found an opening during the tutorial fight, take out OHIP. That was a great play. Look back at that play. Afterwards, though, he went to the XP lane. He knows that the Golden is already done for. All they need to do is to get more influence in the other part of the map so that they can set up for the next turn.
I mean, so far this game has been looking super dominating here. And if we look at the MVP highlights overall,
Look at that play.
when does Blacklist actually, try and come back if you were in their position?
Benny QT he's like a assassin marksman player.
Yeah.
You know, like he's always behind you on the side of you. Oh, this is a beautiful play by the entire side of Echo. He started off with a hook flicker from Yaoi, and then an beautiful ultimate from Faraz the Dinosaur. It just shut down the V-Vice combo, right, from the side of Blacklist. And take a look at the bottom side. This is where Semper set up the play. And Benny QT flickered and finished off the kill, the executioner. I want to see the split push in the end. I think that highlight was just so good. How does this guy just quietly and sneakily go into your base and take everything?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with just
Here
the
we go.
way he kind of positions himself, and more importantly so, Echo has a huge priority on where Haji is. They expect Wise to be in a certain position. They expect Oheb and Venus to be in another position, but more importantly so, they needed to ensure that the playmakers, Oh My Venus and as well as Haji, they need to know their position before they make a decision.
And Blacklist International kind of plays like you said, plays the same game. They're very good at it. I'm not saying that they're bad at it or that it is a mistake for them to keep on doing it because that's their winning formula. But it feels like in games number 1 and 2, Echo just read through that, knows the steps that they're going through, and then counted them every step of the way.
They broke the code.
There has to be a little bit of a curveball for Blacklist come game 3.
They broke the code. What can I say?
Wait, it's not
have to relax, bro.
over.
You have to relax.
It's not over just yet. It's a best of 7, but let's see what Marikar are up to.
It feels like in a land of down with all of the heroes and the players, important player, we have Dlar and Marky. Halo Dlar, apa kabar?
Baik.
Baik. Coba dong disapa dulu pakai bahasa Indonesia dong. Indonesian words, Indonesian words.
Bisa dong, tapi masih sedikit.
Ah, he can do, but only a little bit.
Okay, sample.
Ako udah makan tadi.
Oh, what does that mean?
That means he have eaten.
Okay, what can you say in Bahasa?
Ako makan nakdi.
Oh, translate Dlar, translate. Translate.
Translate in Tagalog.
Yeah.
Kumain na daw siya ng McDo.
Oh, okay. Okay, did you guys expect it was gonna be a 2-0 for Echo? Did you expect that performance from them?
Sa akin, hindi kasi sa tingin ko, dikit lang yung mga laban dapat. Kasi alam ko yung Blacklist, laging handa yan.
Okay, he wasn't expecting it because the games are too close and he knows that Blacklist are always prepared. Dilar.
Sa akin naman ina-expect na unang aabante yung Echo. Kasi meron silang momentum, galing silang lower bracket eh.
Oh, you expected Echo to advance because they have the momentum because they're coming from the lower bracket? Okay, now, Dilar, you've been with V-Wise for 4 seasons, even before MPL, you were with them. If you can give us an inside scoop because you know V-Wise really well, how do you think they're reacting right now with 0-2? What's going through their mind? And usually, what do they say and do when they're backstage?
Tingin ko dito nagagana si Venus eh. Kasi sobrang galing niya sa gantong parte. Kung paano mag-adjust, tapos pag lumamang yung kalaban, alam niya kung paano babalik rin yung laban.
He thinks this is Venus' strength. This is what he's really good at. When they're down, he knows how to flip it around and use it against their opponent.
So what gonna do? What are they gonna do for
What are
the
they gonna do?
next match? For the next game?
Marky, what should they do? Marky,
Ah,
Bigatron.